Live, episode number 83. I am your co-host, Pisky. I am joined, as always, by the one and only Godfather and the man of the hour. We got Tbone Vegas, as you know him on Twitter. He's joining us from one of his penthouse suites in Colorado. Tbone, thanks for doing this, my man. Welcome aboard.
Wait a second. Who's Tbone? You must mean just in case.
You're smart, man.
I did my homework.
I'm the dummy. What is that?
Go ahead, Tbone.
Just in case. Homework, man, for sure. But yeah, what's up, my gambling amigos? Man, I'm chilling in Maristar Suite here. Like, they're very friendly here. They're probably the most friendliest casino in Blackhawk, and also I find their machines are the loosest too. I've probably won the most here, so it's nice that, because there's some casinos like they don't treat you very well around here and stuff, and some places will actually throw you out. I haven't been thrown out anywhere, but my buddy the other day was thrown out. I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you sign in? Did you sign in as just in case?
No.
At the hotel?
I don't know anything about this just in case.
Come on.
Somebody was asking about Georgie, and I don't know.
Cool. No problem. Just thought I'd bring it up.
Sometimes it's better just to refer to my friend, or we start using names here and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second,
trouble, man.
I think I got it now. The just in case, is that the guy from Canada that followed them around Montana?
Yeah, I once again.
Oh, yeah, you see, I miss.
If I saw his picture, I might know him, but you know, I smoke a lot of weed, I drink a lot of seltzers. Happy to.
Well, I'm gonna join you here, Tbone.
Tbone, you got a picture of the
guy? Tbone and I got a little wacky on these at Bet Bash in Vegas in August, so I thought it for the podcast we had to go back down memory lane and get some of these inside us. So what do you think?
Yeah, the High Noon is definitely a quality product. I like the Happy Dad too. They're just launching these in Canada. Keep
nice.
Your eye out for those.
Okay.
But
good stuff.
Yeah, I used to always be like a vodka soda guy, and so like now they have these seltzers and like they can control it. You know, I hate it when I was like getting a drink in like the afternoon and some bartender pours you like a 3-shot, vodka soda and just kind of ruins your day, you know.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Like, I've always been like a sports gambler too. Like, even though sometimes I'm not gambling that much, but I'm always like following the games, you know. So like, really, I don't really like to start like drinking until like the last games are over. And so, which is good, out here is like 10, 11 o'clock, you know.
It's way better. When I was in Vegas last season, Tbone, like I everything was wrapped up by 10 o'clock at night, right? You can go out for dinner at that point if you wanted to. But here on the East Coast, oh my God, if you're catching the late Lakers game, it's like, Godfather, what time do you go to bed at night?
2 a.m. earliest.
There you go. And that's because of the West Coast games. The East Coast stinks for what we do.
Yeah.
All right,
like
go
Mountain
ahead.
Time zone, I think is the best.
Yeah, because you get a bit of both, right? Because you're 2 hours behind us. Right now, it's 5:25 Eastern. What time is it there, Tbone?
3:25. So
there you go.
Still 2 hours.
Don't ask our guests to do math. What's the matter with you?
So, okay. So, Tbone, I follow you on Twitter. I think I might be your biggest Twitter fan, honestly, because you are constantly posting images of where you're at, slot machines that you're playing. You are a professional slot machine player. Can you just explain to everyone, like, how that even comes about, how you got involved with it, and that it even exists? Because I tell my mom, who's a big watcher of this podcast, so we got to watch our language, but I tell my mom, I tell my grandmother, I'm like, one of my buddies in Colorado is a slot pro, and they don't believe me. They're like, no chance. There's no chance this happens. So explain to us, what is this all about?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, to be honest with you. Like, even in the beginning when people told me that it could be done, I didn't even really believe it too. And then it was like a friend of mine was like, "Yeah, I want to teach you this stuff," and I was kind of at the same point, just like, "Well, hey, I'm one of those guys that's kind of like, hey, I don't want to get in the middle of your stuff. You know, whatever you got going on there is your deal. I don't want to like, come wreck something you might have something building up or whatever." But at the end of the day, after I started learning it, like there's other people looking for this stuff, and like if he literally isn't here in around that machine in an hour or even like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, one of these other guys is going to pick it up. So by him really teaching me, it really never hurt him, or it really only helped him because in the beginning my bankroll wasn't that strong. So if I had some machine play at an advantage and it had like a $50, a spin play, like I couldn't play it, but I could like, hey, look what I found, and which is funny because there's people walking around here right now, they don't even have any money on them, and they're looking to find that stuff, and they have people they'll call and try to put the money together and stuff. Yeah, it's not crazy. Like I never like in the beginning, I never believed in it, and then like once you start seeing it, you're like, watch these guys. That guy's gonna go look at that machine, and because there's only like 10, 15 machines in a casino, that you can actually check. It's not like every game you can check. There's only so many games. So basically, if that's how you can tell who's checking machines is he's going to go from this machine, and then the next machine over there is the next machine that has an advantage. He's going to look at that and then go over there, and it's an easy way to figure out what someone's doing. Because if they're only looking at those machines, and basically what happens with these games is they have features in them where they're banking free games. Like maybe it starts out at 10 free games if you hit this feature, and then it goes 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 until it gets hit, and then it gets reset at 10, And so like any game that has something like that into it, there probably is a point where it becomes positive because somebody built it up and didn't hit it, and then if you can come in behind them and play until you hit it, not every, it depends what the number is and what the game is, of course. And not everything's, you could have something that has a high expectation to win and still lose, but some of these advantages can be insane. Like, card counters bankrupt. Rayman bankrupted. Rayman was a retard, and he bankrupted Vegas with a 1% to 2% card counting edge. But a machine guy on some things, he might have 10, up to like 10, 15% edges sometimes, depending upon how high that stuff is banked up and.
All right, we're back here. We had a technical difficulty. The Godfather just, had to. What was that? You had to whack someone. You had to make a private phone call. What the hell happened there?
Yeah, the
thing. Our guest is in the middle of a story, and you just hang up.
Sincerest apologies.
I understand. You had a thing.
I had a guy here. Yeah. Anyway, continue. Sorry, my apologies.
But yeah, I was getting into, I think, mainly of just a lot. There's a lot of, not a lot, but there's like 10, 15 different games on the slot floor where they have a feature in them where it's banking up free games. Or there's other things that will have, it has something like must hit by. Like you'll see some progressives that will like say like must hit by 10,000 or must hit by 500. And there's definitely times when that gets high enough that there's an advantage there where you want to sit down and there's time. If you're gonna go for the $10,000 one, you're definitely gonna need like 15, 20 grand because you can get stuck in them. If things go real sour on you. But it's just basic calculus, I believe. I'm not a I learned the math on the casino floor, not in the classroom. I didn't go to MIT or nothing.
So let me see. Let me see if I understand this correctly, Tbone. You have perfected a way to detect or to understand which games are primed to pay. So, in layman's terms, somebody has done the heavy lifting, and Tbone comes along and says, yeah, you go to the bathroom, plunk, click, connect. Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah, basically, it does happen like that. It hasn't really happened
Wow.
like that recently, but there was one time. It was a new game. It's called Buffalo Ascension. Basically, these reels go up, and when the
Oh, that
reels
one,
get
the Stampede with the Buffaloes. That one?
yeah, exactly. And if the reels are all high, when you get to the top, you get a bonus up there. So if someone leaves it with the reels all high, there's a definitely huge advantage there. There's in every casino in America right now, there's someone checking those machines every 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And
Really?
so that's why I don't mind talking about this. Somebody's gonna DM me or something and say, you're killing my fucking career, man. Like a lot of this shit is luck. Like literally you have to be just on the casino floor putting the time in, and somebody gets up and you're like, holy shit, that old lady's gonna leave it? Is she not gonna go for those games?
But see, they don't know about it. They don't know about
it.
They
don't know, or
right?
They have a budget, like
and that's another thing. Yeah,
and and not every game's gonna win either. And that's where I get to is like sometimes I sit there and I'm like, man, I want to give up on this, man, or like I want to cry because I'm not gonna get even on this one because it's not like I don't want to make it sound like I just come in and like hit it. Like there's definitely times it works that way, but at the end of the day, it's like a sports betting edge. Like basically the coin in. Like if you're really lucky, you're gonna get like 10%. I take a lot of. There's a lot of guys. They're just looking for the real, the real nuts. And I like to play and gamble, and I'm going for other things too. Like here at Ameristar, if I'm about 90,000 points away, and I have till May to get it, which like I'm like a -300 favorite there. And basically, if I get that, Ameristar is going to give me a brand new Mercedes lease for 12 months. Yeah.
Come on.
And that's because of all the action you give them, right?
Yeah, that means I put in between like 2 to 4 million in coin in somewhere in a year, but like when I'm playing a machine that must hit by 10,000, there's a good possibility my coin in on that day is like 50, 100,000. It just depends if I hit it earlier, if it goes like sometimes they go all the way to 999 and like you're crying and stuff, man. It's like I haven't had it go all the way that way.
Cristo.
Yeah, I haven't had it go all the way that way, but it was funny because it was like 2-3 months ago, and me and my buddy like sometimes we'll team up on those plays, and there was one getting close, and he got all mad because I told him like these guys are playing it, man, and like I don't think they're gonna leave it. And he's like, man, it's your fault we didn't get it, blah blah blah. And like, man, we can't be missing out on those. And then he's like, who is it anyways? And like it was actually a guy we met at Bet Bash and his buddies. And like I was like, I think it's that dude we met at Bet Bash. And sure enough, it was. And he texted me. He was like, how did it run you? And he's like, not good. Went to 999 and sent a picture of it at 999. I was like, dude, we dodged a huge bullet there, man. Like,
wow. So did he end up hitting it?
Yeah, you hit it, but he probably lost between 5,000 and 10,000 on it when it went that far. And like that machine, there's like 5 of them, and that one machine that I'm talking about is screwed us like twice too. Like the first time I ever went after one of those $10,000 machines. Like I barely had like 10,000 with me too, and I was like, "Hey, my buddy wasn't in town, and so I was like, I need a partner on this. Like you want to go for it? Like I think I have enough money to do it, but I'm not sure. But I still want a partner." And he's like, "Yeah, I think it's good. Go for it." And I got it up there like 999 or up to 9,900. Still got to push it, another 100. And like I'm running out of money, and like these other guys behind me are a bunch of Asian people. They're like watching me because it's not hard to see. Like one point you're stuffing hundreds in, $1,000 at a time, and then going. And then next thing you know, you're stuffing 20s in it, you know? And people are like, oh,
Yeah.
he's running out of money. He's not doing hundreds anymore, you know? And these guys lined up on me and like, you know, they're all speaking Chinese and shit and fucking, you know, I don't know what they're saying. And then like when you hit a button, you know, on a machine, it makes like a cowbell sound when there's no money in it. And they're all like hitting the button, cowbell sound, and pointing at me like, hey, him soon, no money. And I'm still like pounding it. And luckily, man, God bless DraftKings, man. Like I had like another 5 or 10 grand in my DraftKings, and like I'm part of the DraftKings VIP program. Like they do limit me on some stuff, but they're pretty fair to me. I'll say that. They don't give me any promotion, so anymore.
Fuck you, DraftKings.
But, yeah, but anyways, they have a very fast payout to your debit cards, you know. So I had it was between like 5,000-10,000. Like I was like, I need to get 5 grand in the debit card because I only had like a couple grand in there. And then I shot it in there, and it like literally got in there in like 15 minutes. And then like when you're like top slot card, you can lock up a machine for like up to like a couple hours, depending upon what card you are. You can be like, hey, I've been playing this. I need to go get something to eat.
You're allowed to do that? You're allowed to like reserve it for I didn't know that you could do that. Okay.
When you're the top slot card, or if you're even like the medium card, but the higher the card you are, the more time you can lock it up. And so I was like, I need you to lock this up, and you know, I need to like go out and smoke and like come back, and then I pissed all those people. There was like 5-6 people literally like right behind me, and they're like, oh, you know, because they could see I was running out of money. And like I didn't like basically now I gotta go take my debit card and run it at the cashier cage and try to get as much money out of there as I can, try to hit this. And then the whole time I'm telling my buddy, like, hey, we're partners in this, and we're already down like 11 grand, and we haven't hit it yet, and I'm running out of money. Like we might not hit it. Wow. That's like the first one I've ever done too. So like, yeah, I'm sweating. Like it's literally like. I'm sure it's like a woman like having birth, man. It's like, because it's like a 7-8 hour process of just like pounding the thing and just stuffing in money. Like, I don't want to like, yeah, if you got the money to do it and like you're in this to do it, you know, I want to warn people like it might not come out so great, you know.
Yeah, there is a downside, and you know that's what I tell everyone with the sports betting too. You know, people know that I've been working in the industry forever, and you know on both sides, and I tell everyone, you know, because what's the tips? Well, you know, give me some tips. My tips are don't do this, don't get into this racket because it's a lot of work, and yeah, you got to be able to take the swings and stuff like that. So you know when people see you posting every 5 minutes on Twitter with all your wins and stuff, they don't know that a lot goes into that. And there is waves that you have to ride, like the story you're just telling us, which is crazy.
For sure. And you have to have the bankroll and the
bankroll
for
huge,
it too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
One thing I live a pretty like small life, like, you know, my car's paid for, I have a small apartment, you know, like I don't, you know, I'm just trying to build my bankroll and you know, at some point, you know, I don't have to worry about, you know, doing anything for a couple of years if I want to, you know.
That's the way to do it, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I try to spend as much time because at the end of the day, with the slots, it's about, you know, you have to put the time in. You know, if you think you're just gonna come in here for a couple hours and find it. But you know, at the end of the day, I'll get to the end of that story. I got like 6 Asians behind me, and now I'm out of money, and like I've got it up to like 99.10 or something. You know, I need to move it like $90 more. So I'm like, I don't know. I've never done this with my bank card. I've never had to do it at these Colorado casinos. But like when I had a different bank and I lived in Vegas like 5 years ago, you know I could go to the cage and be like, yeah, run my card for like $5 grand, you know, and I'll pay. It costs you $100 or something, you know.
It's an emergency. Like, it doesn't matter at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cost of doing business.
I have to hit this thing, you know.
Yeah.
And basically, I don't want to have them see me do it at this casino because maybe my card gets declined, and then they're gonna see it and like, because even then I have to come up with a plan B of going to like get every free play at every casino that I have and play off points and like, there's big brain here.
Wow.
Like, there's no way I could give this up, man. And so basically, I go to the casino next door and I just get lucky. Like they run it for the $5,000 and they just pay me out right there. It costs $50, $100, whatever. And so then I go back over and I'm back in action. And luckily, it got hot right away. And I started hitting some stuff and like they could tell. And then I got it up to like 99.50. And they could tell, like, I still had a pocket full of hundreds and stuff. And, like, I was going till the end. And then I ended up hitting it. But the sad thing was, it was like a $5,000 loss. But at the end of the day, all that coin in that I put, and I was a new, was at a Caesars property. I was a new, like, slot player to Caesars. And I put so much coin in, like, they started giving me, like, $1,500 a week, like, a month later. In free
Really?
play. It was like between 1,000 to 1,500.
Wow.
Like 3 times a week, 450, and sometimes it was only 2 times. But and then I'll give that out here. It's like when you get that kind of free play, you probably shouldn't like. I don't know if you really like a slot game or whatever. Do whatever. Like I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do, but when you're playing a slot game, the whole percentage is between like 10 and 15%. But if you're playing like a high, there's video poker games that have less than 1% or like 1.25%. So if you just put your free play through one of these, like a jacks or better that has a 9-6 board with 2 pair pays double, the hold is only like 1%. So in theory, you're gonna only lose 1% of that free play over time.
So over time, so you just play through it and then you try to extract as much as possible, right?
Yeah, and then you cash out because like some places give me like now it's not that big. Like when you're a bigger player, like and they know you're known for winning, they're not going to just give you a bunch of stuff. But I used to get some pretty $500 here. I still get random stuff like birthday month they throw you 500, and basically if you run it through one of those video poker machines, it has like a bonus poker that has an 8-5. The full house pays 8 and the flush pays 5. And the key thing is 2 pair pays double too. And at the end of the day, you're only gonna lose like 1% on that. And every now and then you're gonna pop a royal on like I play dollars, I play $5, and I haven't hit a $5 one royal which would pay 20,000. That won away like 20 times, or like 50 times.
Yeah. I've seen them on Twitter, and I'm like,
like everybody's got goals, Pisky. Like one of my goals is to hit a royal flush on a $25 video poker bet that's free play that pays
what would
out
that
20,000.
20,000.
Yeah, I've hit 3 on $1 that pay out 4,000, which was crazy because I was in Cripple Creek a month ago. And I only had $80 free play at that place, and I held one card. I think it was a Queen of Diamonds, and it gave me the other 4 and for 4,000.
Come on, really?
But I hadn't hit a royal flush for a year, so
so you were due.
think like I was
You're due,
royal flush is 1 in 40,000, so I seriously think I was in the due range, but I hit 2 of them like fast before that, the year before that, so. I was kind of like, I wasn't due for that second one, so I'm
like. So these free plays, do they have rollovers on them, or is it just? Yeah, I guess you got to probably.
It's just a one-time rollover.
Yeah, you got to go through the 500 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're playing like a jacks or better, and it's got a 9-6 board where the full house pays 9, and the sorry, I'm getting drunk. The flush pays 6, and then the key thing too is the 2 pair pays double. Like the hold is like 1% or like not even 1%, and so at the end of the day you're gonna hit a lot of just 2 pairs. And it's gonna pay you double, and then and you're gonna hit some 4 of kinds and stuff too, which that's gonna pay you a couple hundred. But it's just more money to go gamble with. And my strategy is when I'm playing the advantage slot play, I want to get as much points as I can out of that. When you're playing your free play, you're not going to get the points. So
Okay.
I want to go and play, just run my money through the 1% jacks or better, get that cash. And then when I find the advantage play, that starts me out there. And then I'm getting the points because, like, the points are crazy. Like,
this is smart shit. I got to give you credit because I know for you do it every single day and you're out there and you're grinding and you're hustling and you think it's nothing because but this is like really smart shit. I got to tell you, like listening to it is like, you know everything about the rewards programs and stuff like that. You know everything about the machines. You know everything about I'm sure what time of day. Does that matter? What time of day? Like you said, right now the casinos are nuts in Colorado. Too busy on the weekends?
No, time of day doesn't really matter. But yeah, on the weekends, like I said, there's only so many games to check. So like you'll go on a casino floor at Friday night at 9, 10 o'clock, and every one of those games there's a person sitting on it. But that's where the value comes too. Is like really nobody's checked it because people are sitting in there. So there literally be sometimes people just standing there waiting for someone to jump off so they can check it. And then if there's an advantage play on it where someone's playing it and they're like, oh shit, like it's getting up there and like it's advantage. If they don't hit it and get off, I want to get on it. And like I never do that stuff. I don't because I don't want to root against somebody. And then the other thing is they might hit it. So I might sit there and watch this old lady play, for 30 minutes and she might hit it and not leave. And they're, 10, 20 feet down the casino, there was a play that so I'll just keep moving. I think just keep moving.
How many hours a day, Tbone, do you put in walking around casinos?
That's a hard question, man.
As many as it takes.
Yeah, well, and it's not really, you don't really calculate hours when it's like something you enjoy to do. Like,
yes, 100%.
I don't have like kids and stuff, so like I don't have a lot going on. So it's just kind of like go up to the casino and like, see what's going on. Like it's definitely gotten harder in the last couple of years. Like there's more people doing it, and like I was lucky. Like when I came in here, like there was some new games that came out, and people didn't know how to play them, and like we figured it out faster than everybody. And it was really. That's what a lot of things, I guess, at the end of the day are about, is about timing. Now it's like if you go out right now, it's hard to find plays. You literally have to be lucky that somebody jumps off it and you're like standing there. Like that's how it is on a Friday or Saturday. And there's just so many people doing it now, and it's so hard. But that's why I don't care about talking about it, because at the end of the day, if you want to make money, you got to be out there and opportunities are going to come. Like, it's crazy how, if you know the machines to check and stuff, it's crazy the things you walk up on. Like, I can't believe somebody left this at like 40 free games.
Well, I actually have a story for you, Tbone. So the Full Dog, who has been my partner in crime in sports betting since the beginning of time, he caught on to you on Twitter before I learned about who you are and met you at Bet Bash. And he's like, no, there's this guy in Colorado. He's smart. He goes around to all the casinos. He knows the different style of games. And I couldn't figure out what he was talking about. So he's like, I'm coming to Toronto and I'm going to show you. So we went to the Pickering Casino, and same type of thing. We go to this slot machine. You probably know it. I forget the name of it, but it had 3 piggy banks on it.
Yeah, original piggies.
Original piggies. There you go. So the original piggies, we sit down. It's myself, the Full Dog, and our friend Snarl. And we start feeding it because one of the piggies is big, or maybe all 3 were big. I can't remember. Someone left it, and we're like, okay, this is it. Full Dog's like, yes, this is an opportunity. So our buddy Snarl sits down. He had just randomly hit this machine for $3,500. So he had some coin to play with. So he sits down and he starts hammering it. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. Well, he got spooked. The thing would not burst on us, right? We're watching it get bigger and bigger and bigger. And sure enough, like you said, there was people behind us lined up just waiting for us to get fucking cold feet, which we did. And we moved on. And then sure enough, we turn around and this lady had sat down. Again, I think he was doing $100 a spin because he was really trying to crack it. And she went in with I think she was playing $2 a spin. hammered it, and I don't know, made her $400 or something like that. But if you do the math there, right, we walked a little away from a lot of money, but you got scared. You got scared. You didn't want to do it anymore. Yeah. So that's what you got to factor in. You need the mental fortitude, I guess, to go ahead and make this thing work. But yeah, so I totally know where you're coming from. Now, Tbone, you let's switch gears here for a second, because everyone, I'm sure, as soon as we push this recording button, noticed your T-shirt, the South Dakota State Jackrabbits, and we
FCS champion Jackrabbits.
Yes, and there's a special thing to this championship that just happened. We were DMing through the entire experience, and I want to say thank you for including me on this little adventure, because it gave me memories of what we did here in Toronto a few years ago. So tell us the story from the beginning. It was something put on as a little bit of a promotion or something going on in the state of Montana. Tell us about how you sniffed it out. You saw the opportunity, you went there, you took advantage of it, and just tell us the whole story from the beginning. This is exciting stuff. I love it.
Well, yeah, it goes back actually to like a year or two ago. And I grew up in Montana. I'm from Billings, Montana. And like, when you think about gambling, you probably don't think much about like there's gambling in Montana, but actually there's like a casino on every major street in Montana. And it's just basically, they had a law in the 80s where they allowed people that owned a bar, they could put 20 video poker, and it was only Keno back then, machines in their bar. And basically that's how these places survive. And like, there's just so many degenerates that play these things. It's crazy because you can only max bet $2, and like your max win is $800. And so like there's just casinos everywhere. And like, basically, when they acted this bill in the 80s in Montana, they ruined gaming in Montana forever, because now like the richest people in Montana all own these casinos, and there's hundreds of them in Montana. There's probably 50 or 60 just alone in Billings where I grew up, and probably more, like 80 or something. And basically, they'll never build a big casino, and really the only gambling there is these 20 machines. And they do have poker tables, live poker, which there's a lot of dumb live poker players, but have fun at 1 to 5 limit poker, Sorry, but I'm just trying to paint a picture here. And then, anyways, sports betting becomes legal in Montana in 2020, and it's just they run. It's like, I call them the Montana Mafia. It's like all the rich people in Montana. And like, they basically run the state, and they're like, we don't want, like, how are we going to do this? We want to run it, but like, they're just an idiot that owns a bar with 20 machines in it. And so like, basically they came up with a bill, the lottery's going to run it. And like, that's when everything goes to hell, when the government decides they want to run something, like this will be a good product. And like, it was a terrible product. Like just look at it. Look. Like, if you want to see a terrible sports book, like, open up. Like, I hope this is probably gonna get me banned from there, but just open up Sports Bet Montana, and like, you'll see -120 on NBA sides, and like go deeper in that thing and look at like women's college basketball. You see like -140 on both sides and stuff. And
come on.
Just criminal stuff. But part of it is the Montana Lottery's running it. And then all these little bars have a kiosk in it. So like in Billings, the biggest city in Montana, there's probably at least 60 kiosks in Billings. And basically the operator doesn't care. He gets 3% of every dollar that comes in there. Because I know some guys that own bars, and like, they told me, they're like, yeah, I've got no liability. I don't care what you do here, man. Like, stop as much you want. I get 3%.
Well, just to interject for a second, Tbone. The Godfather and I are both former Ontario lottery workers, so we know exactly what you're talking about. Godfather won't admit it. He gets mad every time I bring up the Ontario lottery. But yes, unbelievable juice. The product is obviously nowhere near what sports books are. And when we were doing our lottery thing, yes, every retailer loved us because they get 5 points up here north of the border. 5% on every buy, and 2% on every cash ticket.
Yeah, actually, it was 6%, and then they went to 3%. But like, they're just crushing it because like it's just mainly like there's no professionals up there or anything trying to hammer them. Like there was some, but because they did do some stupid stuff. Like they were offering like women's college basketball, and like I was up there just visiting my mom for Christmas one year, and I'm like looking at like FanDuel and like DraftKings, they offer the women's college basketball market, but like they don't let anybody bet on that stuff, so you can't really trust those numbers as much. And like from like knowing stuff here in Blackhawk and seeing people stuff kiosk around there, like I know like people can bet a lot of money on like I don't think you can anymore, but you used to be able to on Caesar's kiosk, and they had women's basketball. So I would look at Caesar's women's college basketball lines, and then I would look at Montana. I'm like, shit, these are like, it's like 3 points difference, man.
Oh. For a middler like me, that's glorious.
Yeah,
Fucking, that's it. Once I create myself a 3-point middle all day long, baby.
Yeah, I didn't really go for it because I couldn't really do that because the only place I'm in Montana, the only thing I can bet is there, like, unless I'm going to call somebody, and, like, it's too much work for all that. And then if the line moves and all that. So, like, I'm just going to look for the best of the side and then grab whatever. And actually, during that same week, Bozeman, Montana State last year was headed to South Dakota State Jackrabbits. This is a year ago. This is not just
okay. This is not what we just did. Okay.
Yeah, this is 2022, and so there's semifinals. They're headed out to the Montana State because Montana was in the championship this year, and this is Montana State last year in the semifinals. And they're headed out there, and I'm out just visiting mom for Christmas. And I noticed the line is the Jackrabbits are -1.5. And like nobody's really opened this stuff real early back then, like just FanDuel and DraftKings and stuff. So I look on FanDuel and DraftKings, they got 6.5.
Oh, really?
And then there's a huge discrepancy in the money line because it's only -1.5. So I think a money line was only like -130 or something too. And I'm like, oh my God. Like I didn't get crazy like I did this year with it, but I was like this is something in the future like that needs to be, monitored.
Yeah, you got to keep your eye on that. Absolutely.
Anytime Montana's in a big game, like I'm gonna go ahead. I bet like 10 grand on it or something.
So you got a taste in 2022. And then you hammered them this year.
Yeah, and like that's basically how it all got put together. It was 2022, and Jackrabbits hammered them too. They won by like 30 points. Like it was over. It was over like basically 10 minutes into the game. Like they were up, like 21-7, like 5 minutes.
So did you try
minutes of the first quarter?
Did you try to middle it at all, or did you play it straight up?
No, that time I pretty much played it straight up. Like I did some stuff with my dad. Like I was like, Dad, I'll put 1,100 on this for you. Open up a FanDuel account, and then it's got a deposit match. So like you're probably gonna lose this bet,
Smart.
but you're gonna get $1,000 free bet back.
Yeah.
And so it worked out. Like I had him where he was breaking even, just gonna get a free $1,000 bet, and then like, which is crazy because from that, like he got like some crazy offers, like, they were like, hey, if you want to put like $5 grand in, we'll give you a 25% deposit match, which I don't ever like really hear those anymore. Like every now and then FanDuel is the only one, like they'll throw me like, throw 1,000 and we'll give you a 500 free bet. And like if that's like, I just like, it's time to reload with them, and I'm like, man, I just keep losing there, and I don't want to do it. And like, I'm like, I'll just like sit on the sidelines for a week or two and see if anything pops up.
They bump it, yeah, right, yes.
Yeah,
and a lot of times they do.
Yeah, and like if the company kind of likes you, like DraftKings, like I don't ever get any more of those promotions because I I think they're still mad about the hot dog contest, and I believe it was 2022. Like that was like when they had it indoors and stuff. There was this chick. What was her name? Michelle Lesko, I believe. Like she's like the top women's, and like it was all around on the streets here in Blackhawk. Like it was like she had like she was talking about doing a YouTube program, and and she just had a kid, and then she was gonna like in February like show like, hey, like I can do like 30, 40 hot dogs, like no problem, and like her husband's a competitive eater, and they were gonna like do them together these videos, and like they did one video, and then like they quit doing them, and so like everybody was kind of like the word was around on the streets around here, and plus there was this elite sports gambling. They had a kiosk here, and they messed up on the Joey Chestnut odds. They put Joey was supposed to be like minus 12 and a half, and they had him plus 12 and a half, and it was funny because I found the guy one day in he's like, dude, did you see they had Joey Chestnut plus 12 and a half? And show him the ticket. And I'm like, oh my God, that's like free money, man.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I'm like, is it
so you smashed
there?
it? You smashed it and they got pissed off at you?
No, basically I'm like, is it still there? And he's like, do you think I would be here if it was still there? I'd still be stuffing money in. And like Elite ended up fixing it, but they were the first ones to put the odds out. And then it became known. And DraftKings ended up being like the second. And like I seen it, and they put them out at like 11, 12 o'clock, so the sports book was closed. And I go in there, and like I'm trying to like, because there's like this chick and her husband under, and then there's the chick under, and then there was like a bunch of different ones you could do, because it was like known, like because she didn't even. She was gonna win by like 10 or 15 hot dogs, so she didn't. There was no motivation for her to get the over, because she just had a kid like 3 or 4 months before that, and then she was talking about she was gonna do these videos and she didn't do them, so you kind of thought like she wasn't in shape to do it, and so like everybody was like, yeah, when they find the odds, like like it's time to pounce, like, this is what they got over at Elite. We were waiting for DraftKings, and then like I go there, I'm like, put 1,000 in, I'm like trying to get 1,000 on it, and the screen just goes red. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Never seen that before. So I go like 500, screen goes red again. I'm like, I guess it's time to go lower. And that's the thing with this kiosk stuffer. Like you're like, I want to get like a few $1,000s on this. It's like always the thing in your mind. It's like, how do I do this? Like people just think, oh, you just stuff it in. Like you have to think about it. Like, cause like, like all the sports book has to do is move the odds, and the kiosk stuffer is, he's done.
Yeah.
Like,
of course.
His game is over.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing. It's like, how do I get as much money on this without pissing anybody off or anybody noticing, like, no turbo lights coming up and stuff. Yeah, and everywhere it's different. I'm not gonna say there's a solution everywhere, but and there used to be places here like in Maristar, like you could bet $2,000-3,000 on NFL props and like not move a line, but then say you have 3 or 4 props you want to bet, like you bet 3,000 on the first one, and then you might get 2,000 or something on the second one. And then when you bet your first 5 or like between 5 and 900, you can get a pop. Like right after that one, they're moving the odds on you.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Like,
So hold on. Let me ask a couple questions here. So DraftKings is pissed off at you for taking advantage of this. Is that what happened? Or?
Yeah, basically, right after that hot dog contest, like my promotions always ended with
Oh,
DraftKings.
okay.
And it was like 2 days later they were asking about like who was the guy that it wasn't even that much. It was $200 bets, and
right.
Basically I got like $2,000 down, but like on every one they closed like 6 or 7 hot dogs. Closing line value.
And that's it. No more.
It was literally the next day
dog
after,
value.
2 days later, like the guy came out and he's like, no more kiosk, everything has to be from the window. But they're actually a little bit generous. They said I can get, props for 500, but it's
Was
everything
this in
to win
Colorado,
500.
Tbone? Was this in
Yeah.
Colorado? Was
Yeah,
was the
that's
guy's
where you guys were. Yeah.
was the guy's name Greg?
No, it was the guy before Greg, actually.
Oh,
And
okay.
around here, we call Greg Sheriff Greg.
Sheriff
Yeah.
Greg. Okay,
That's a good
Tbone.
name.
Tbone, I got a video for you, and tell me if you recognize the background and everything. This is when we did our trip to Las Vegas last season in August, on our way to go spend the season in Vegas. This is the full dog. Let me know if you recognize this.
Yeah,
What do you think of that?
Beautiful
DraftKings?
DraftKings kiosk.
So about a couple hours after that, the Godfather and I were at the same kiosk, and Sheriff Greg came up to us and told us, "No more kiosks for you assholes. That's it. You're cut off. You go to the counter if you want to bet." And I think it was in August, so I think we were playing like a first half, like NFL preseason or something. It was a Kansas City game, I think, right, Godfather? Yeah.
Yes, it was.
And that was it. That's it. We weren't even in Blackhawk for 24 hours, and Sheriff Greg came and gave us the snip.
3 or 4 hours.
I don't want to say anything bad about Greg. He was a decent guy, but he just whatever the trade team in Vegas tells him he's got to do, like he's going to enforce it like a T. And
he's a by the booker.
Anything basically that isn't a major market that's a prop or a first half or something, it's just gonna freak him out and just like because there was some crazy shit going on. It was mainly before Greg was there, but there was a group that was in here that right when it got legalized, they were betting 2,000-3,000, like sometimes more on props right in the kiosk. They're like, now, if you go to the kiosk, it even says like $500 max or something, and also one-time pop only. So you can't sit there and bet the same thing over. And you gotta respect the rules. Absolutely. This ain't Nom. There's rules around here.
So they have to be, or else the sharps will eat them alive. I get it because of our experience, on the other side of the counter.
I was just wanted to ask you, so because one of your posts really stood out to me was, the elastic bands on the money rolls there. So what did you? So basically, was it a bad line that they had out on Montana State?
Let's go back to that story.
That was a year ago. It came out 1.5, and then FanDuel and DraftKings had 6.5, and it closed 4.5. That's a year ago, and so it wasn't that bad of a line, but. I don't know. Who knows what was going on? Everybody that I knew that caps FCS, they were all over the Jackrabbits in that game. So kind of this year, I'm like thinking about it, like, maybe I have to make a move up there if they do something stupid again. And there was another game that, but it didn't happen till like a few hours before the game. Like the market really moved on the dog in like Montana's first playoff game. And so there was like 2 or 3 points of value, but like I couldn't drive up there, and it's an 8-hour drive. So and I don't mind the drive because my mom lives there. I have friends from there, so I go back and have fun. But I couldn't make it. I was just sitting there. I was like texting buddies too, like, dude, this is crazy. Like you have to just like throw 100 or 2 on this, whatever you can afford, man. Like it's so in your favor. And they're like, they went to school at Montana, so they're like, I'm not betting against Montana.
Yeah,
so
I know how that goes.
I think some of them actually bet on Montana, and it's like, dude, like.
Yeah.
Was that for the semis, or was that for the semis, or that was the final?
That was the semis last year.
Okay.
No, it was the game before the semis this year. And so, and then in the semis, I actually liked Montana. So I wasn't going to go up there and bet against Montana because, like, I thought they were going to win that game, and it was a close game, and they did pull it out. And so
did they have the right line? Did they have the right line for the semis?
I believe it was like a pick'em line. So like I think they were like favored, like what, like I don't really remember, to be honest. I think there was a little bit of value, but I really wasn't into it, like really paying attention because I thought they were the right side. So if I was
Yeah.
going to get a point or two, it didn't really matter to me. And it was close to a pick 'em. So like I think maybe they were like a 1 point favorite, and there was a big swing right before the game started, and I can't really remember what happened too. That's these
Okay.
FCS games can be like that, but the
Right.
championship game there was no real swing. Actually, kind of, because it came open at like 12 and a half, and
Okay.
then it didn't take long, and you know there was like 4 or 5 weeks before the chat when they knew who was going to play in the championship game till the championship game actually was
Oh yeah.
played in Frisco, Texas. It was played at a neutral site in Frisco, Texas, and
Right. So the game
it
was
came,
out 4 weeks in advance. The
yeah,
line. Oh. Okay.
it came out like at like 12 and a half, and
Okay. Okay.
it didn't take long, but you know, when we're like a week before the game, it's like 13 and a half. I mean, like you
And
can kind of
is that when you noticed it? And that's when you said, okay, it's go time. I'm driving to Montana.
no, that's when I'm like, well, what does Montana have? Like, and all of a sudden I notice like they're notorious for putting up like minus 115 on both sides. So like I'm seeing if they're gonna do something stupid like that. Like, is that really worth it? And so I'm looking at them, and they have like minus 115 on the Montana side. They have like minus 108 on the South Dakota side, and there is like a 2 point difference or something. I think it was like 10 and a half and 12 and a half and 13 in the market. And like it got down to it, like I wasn't sure if I was gonna go. It's like, should I do it? Should I not? Like, and
Yeah.
I know
At
some
that point,
FC,
it's not. Yeah.
and I know some FCS handicappers. Like, I'm not all about just jumping on a line. Like, I want to know somebody that handicaps it and be like, yeah, that's the right side. Plus, you're getting the value. Like, I think it's good at 13. So if you're getting it at 10 and a half, like, yeah, like,
Easy,
yeah, that's
easy
something.
decision.
You should make a trip to Montana. And so I'm kind of like talking to some guys like I know like that. And basically, it was like the day before where I'm trying to make the decision. They put up 10 and a half, even money, both sides, like kind of a promotion, I guess. You know, just
Ooh,
like
love it.
we're not gonna put high juice on this game for everybody. And then that's
Right.
when like it almost didn't happen either because I lost my debit card. Like basically the day I was gonna go, and then I thought the game was on Saturday. Then no, it's on Sunday. And so like on Friday, I'm like, man, I couldn't get another debit card. So I'm like, how do I get a hotel room without a debit card? You know? So I'm
Yeah.
like, I drove around to like 3 banks, and I'm like, hey, if I sign up for an account and put a couple grand in, can I get a debit card today? And like 2 of them were like, no. And on the third one, they were like, yeah. And so I got a debit card, and then I'm like, yeah, like I think this is like a big play. Like I have to do this. Like, you know, like these
Nice.
things always don't come up. Like I'm not
Yeah.
like, you know, a daily type handicapper, like where I'm trying to play 5, 10 plays a day and stuff. Like I'm trying to be on the slot floor and grind the slot floor out. But like if somebody tells me that, you know, they're a real sharp gambler, you know, like I'm betting this, sometimes I get caught up and fall in their action, or you know, or they bet something I don't like, and then I won't bet as much. And then if they like it and I like it, I bet more because I'm like, yeah, he crushes books, you know, and then I get killed, you know. But like,
Yeah.
I
You need
prefer
some.
to, I
You
prefer
need.
to be on the slot floor, to be honest with you. And like they welcome me in this casino with hundreds of dollars every week just to gamble, and like, yeah, you
Yeah.
want a
Look at the
suite,
suite you're
like,
in. Yeah.
yeah, and like any like Broncos game and stuff like that, like I can go sit in their suite. Like it's ridiculous. Like I
Yeah.
used to count cards. I used to live in Vegas and count cards, and like you can win $500 at a place, and they're showing you the door, and like someone will
Sure.
tell you we don't ever even want you coming back in here. And it's like I can't even like play Keno, or I can't get a hot dog, get the hot dog card. The cool ones will just be like, yeah, you just can't play blackjack here anymore. But
Right.
like that was a long time ago, and like it's crazy because I think a lot of like advantage poker players, blackjack players, they're all like doing the slot stuff now. But there was a good time for it, like a year or 2 years ago, and like it's definitely getting a lot harder, and like you have to be smarter with the promotions, go after drawings, and then like the larger promotions, like just being like a 7-star club, you get a free trip to Vegas, you get a free trip to Atlantis, like being top card here at Maristar, you get a free trip to Baha Mar, and
Nice.
it's like, but it's crazy because like they give you like 4 days and they pay for your airfare, and then you get down there and like a cheeseburger is like $50,
Shout
Yes,
out to
at the Baja Mar for sure.
Yeah,
yeah, it's rough at Baha Mar, but it's just there's so many programs and stuff. You just gotta try to get the best of it. Is what at the end of the day.
For sure.
And,
okay, so Tbone, you notice the discrepancy in the line. You notice it's even money. They're not even charging you juice. When do you make the decision to say, I'm driving to Montana. I'm taking that 8-hour drive. We're going, baby. And so you got your debit card, right, at the new place. So you can get a hotel now. So what's next? That was, I guess, Friday that you said I'm going down?
Yeah, like basically Friday night, Saturday morning. Like I had some promotions out here. I had like $300-400 that were going to expire on Saturday. So I'm like,
shit.
I don't really want to leave Friday. And like that was like part of my reasoning. I thought the game was on Saturday, so part of my reasoning I wasn't even going to go. So I thought the game was on Saturday. I'm like, is it even worth it? Because I have some promotions. And then the other problem too is it's 8 hours. What if like I drive 4 hours and the line changes?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's not like there's a guarantee once I start. I'm not driving 15 minutes down to the casino. But
or
if
you play $500 on it. And they move the line after $500. Like that's such a waste, right?
Yeah, it get back to that too about and then how do I do this? Do I just start banging $5,000 or like and like respect to anybody that's like seen a kiosk stuff or like most people like don't know how to act when a guy's just sitting there with like $5,000. And then when his hand goes empty, he pulls out another $5,000.
I know exactly what you're talking about, man.
Is he betting on something that's fixed or like what do you do?
Does he have a problem?
People are sometimes you'll see a smart person like they'll come like try to be behind you and they'll try to look like, well, what is he betting?
Yeah, of course.
And that was a good trick of mine back in the day when I first moved to Vegas. Is I lived out by the M Casino, and that was where all the sharps were back in the day before the apps and stuff. And like you seen certain guys go to the window, like it was well worth it just to like long behind, go behind them, like, oh, what's that line up there? Because there's a little on the ticket thing, it shows, like, oh, you just bet $5,000 on, Virginia Tech or something, like.
On the screen, I've seen that. Yeah. Right at the counter.
Thing, but now none of that stuff really exists because all the sharps they're all betting on apps and stuff.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so you get to Montana, and you mentioned that there's casinos in every, whether it be a restaurant or whatever. And I can attest to that because when I stopped in Montana, the Montana Club, which I recommend to anyone that needs a bite to eat in Montana, go check this place out. It's phenomenal. They had a tiny little casino next to it. I didn't realize that these were all over the place. I thought I just got lucky. And then I did notice a Bet Montana kiosk. So what is the maximum at a kiosk, at a Bet Montana kiosk?
It's $250.
So you can only hit it once?
You can only hit it once for $250, and the reason why is because if you bet something and it pays out over $600, like you can't cash it in those little casinos. You actually have to go to the lottery office to cash it, which is a major pain in the ass because there's only one lottery office in the whole state of Montana. Montana is the 4th biggest state in the country, and so like if I was to have one in Billings, it would take me 3.5 hours to drive to Helena.
That's crazy. But you know what? The same thing happens here in Toronto. So when we were doing our little lottery thing, we strategically kept all our tickets to pay under $1,000 because anything over $1,000, you had to go to the main office, the main lottery office in downtown Toronto. And obviously, when you have an edge, you don't want to expose it, right? You don't want to go to the main office and say, "Hey, I'm here again for the 5th time this week." We kept everything under, like you did, the $250. And so, did you go casino to casino to casino to casino all over Montana?
Yeah, well, no, just in Billings, because
Just in
like
Billings.
literally there's like 50 or 60 casinos, and then there's
Okay.
there's bigger ones and smaller ones. So like that, it actually becomes a huge problem when you bet as much as I did on that game. Of like, now how am I going to get paid? And like, and you saw one of the videos I made, like there was I think I had like $10,000 in 20s or something, which if I would have got pulled over on the way home to Colorado, that would have been fun to explain, you know, like,
Yeah.
I won this money in a casino. Why did
Go
they pay you in 20s?
Jackrabbits!
Yeah, like they don't pay jackpots in 20s, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, there's bigger casinos, and like the max win in these casinos is max bet is $2. The max win on a machine one pay is $800. So like they don't have a lot of money. So it's you can't just go in and be like, I want to collect 10 grand here at like one of the bigger ones. Like basically it's like $2,000, like 1,500. Some of them will tell you like best I can do is 500, and then they'll say it, and it's all in 20s.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly how it was here in Toronto. We had to make connections because you cannot walk in, especially these days where no one's using cash, right? Everything's tap, tap, tap. So we had to make connections, and yeah, our retailers loved us because they collected the 2%. But it's tough. So it's not just the bet. It's how you get down, first of all, right? Because you got to go to every individual kiosk like you did all over Montana, and then you got to cash the goddamn things because you won. Yeah. So I'm just going to dress it up in case anyone doesn't know the story, because I think we're making the assumption that people do know what the edge was. So what was the line? 10.5 that you were able to get in Montana?
Yeah,
10.5 even money?
It was 10.5 even money, and actually, like, I stuffed a large amount on Saturday night, and then on Sunday morning they moved to plus 102. So I had 75%, I'd say, of my money at even money, and then I did another 25% in the morning, like, because it's kind of another thought of the kiosk mind, like, should I go for it all tonight, or like should I save some for the morning in case it gets better? So you know,
yeah,
like, they pay out of money and they go to 9.5.
But how do they do that? How in God's name do you know? Because obviously people aren't betting the amounts that you're betting. So how in the hell do they go the other way on the odds? They give you better value. That's crazy. That's insane.
Doesn't sound great.
I have no clue why they did that, and like I don't know if you guys used to work for a lottery. Maybe you can answer this. Like I literally think like how their juice is put into the kiosk, like nobody's gonna win it. You know, it's minus 130 at college odds, and minus 120 on both sides, on sides and totals, on pros. And like I literally don't think that there's no pros up there trying to hammer them. So I think all they did is just recreational parlay action. I've seen the numbers. They make like around $1 million a month type stuff. And like I don't even think they have anybody that watches it, to be honest with you. Or like there's one person and like he makes $100 grand a year and he just doesn't give a shit, And like they don't move on money because like they didn't move. Like I just told you, I stuffed 75% of my bet on in the night, and then in the morning they moved. Like
you got better odds.
Yeah, like I don't know, like. I don't know how much money was bet across the state, like I know people are crazy up there, like bet on my team,
Yeah.
But yeah, those kind of guys. Those kind of people, though, they're betting $20, right? They're not slamming down what you're slamming down here. So the edge, folks, is that the Montana State Lottery had them at minus 10.5. The Jackrabbits, his T-shirt, 10.5 even money. And the Pinnacle line was plus 14, correct, Tbone?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And like even I looked on Pinnacle like the night before, their alternative odds and stuff, and they only went down to 12.5. At 12.5, they were offering it at minus 143. So at me having 10.5 even money, you got to think I was getting, something that they valued at 160 to 180 at even money,
Yeah, you got to take that all day
be a
long.
math nerd about it right now.
Yeah, exactly. No, listen, I'm not a math guy either, but you got to take those opportunities, right? When someone is giving you, let's call it, like, again, I don't know the math, but a plus 130 on a coin flip, you got to do that all day long, right? You just go. You know what I mean? Don't even think about it. Press the pedal.
Yeah, I'm like, once again, I'm not like I think you have to do that, but you still need a handicapper at some point too. You can't just, if you see odds like that get crazy, you need a handicapper to say, yeah, it's a good bet, and it's the right side. Like, I know people, you see them on Twitter and stuff. They're doing the top down stuff, and they're getting a point of it here. Like, I don't know, they still grind out, a few percent, but like, I don't know. I think that's a tough way to go. I think it's about if you can find the edge and then get the handicapper to verify it.
Yeah, that's a good. I've never even really considered that, to be honest, because that's what I'm so scared of. I hate variance, right? So when I see opportunities like this where I get a point, 2 points, 3 points in my favor, I'd rather just middle it because I'm scared of variance. I don't like being losing. I don't like losing and saying, hey, it's good for the long run. But I'm putting my big point pants on lately, and I think I'm going to make some modifications because, man, the middling thing is not easy. It's a lot of time in front of the screens, just like with you. It's a lot of time, going
in the casino,
machine in the casino. Yeah, there's a lot of man hours involved.
And then that's why when I was doing some women's college basketball, like, I would find those 3 points and stuff, and sometimes I try to middle those. But at the end of the day, I learned, like, I think there's more value just having having that side.
Yes.
And, just riding with it and going for the middle. It's so hard to hit the middle, even
exactly.
if you do have a couple points. But, you know, at the end of the day, like, you can make money doing that. I'm not going to say you can't make money doing that, but if you have a handicapper that can tell you the right side too, and then get the best of the line, like, that's what you need the whole operation to, like, really crush it.
100%. All the real sharps tell me that. They're like, Pisky, you're leaving money on the table, guaranteed. And I know that, but the middling stuff does work, and it helps me sleep at night. So I remember Antonino DeRosa, when he was on our podcast here, told me exactly that. He's like, Pisk, if it helps you sleep, just, keep doing what you're doing, but know that you are definitely leaving money on the table. And I know that, but whatever. It is what it is.
It was really nice. It was really nice to see that post that you did with not so much the cash, but you had the cash, and then you had in plain sight just a nice thick wad of more tickets that you had to go get paid out. That brings Pisky some fond memories, that's for sure.
To be honest with you, I think it was the largest wager in Montana kiosk history. Man, I'm kind of worried because, like, it goes back to Montana's like this big state, but it's like people that just live there the whole life. Because I grew up there, I know this, and like, I'm just waiting for like something bad to happen here. Like, somebody like, we want to know how much exactly you wagered, and then it's like,
yeah, you don't need that.
It doesn't matter about that, or get some kind of like they figure out who I am and like send a letter saying I can never use the kiosk again or something. But at the end of the day, like, I could have really helped them, because if Montana covers the line, like, I lose, and like my money pays all the Montana bets out versus I just won everybody's bets.
Yeah. Exactly. Without knowing the inside of it, you don't really know like what their liability was and whatnot, But I remember when we were DMing about it, Tbone, going back and forth while you were doing it. I messaged the Godfather. I told him like what was going on, but if you go back to our lottery days, we were able to cheat because obviously being a lottery with shit odds, you get a lot of public action. So we were always able to cheat a little bit, but going from a 10.5 to a 14 and oh my God, even money, we would have got roasted on the South Dakota side. So there's no way we could go that far. But who knows? You don't know. Maybe they had strictly Montana action, and that's maybe why they went to +02. You don't know. And until you get the story from someone on the inside, you actually have no idea.
Yeah, it
But
would
I
suggest
mean,
that, wouldn't it? Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But man, that was pretty juicy. And how did you notice it? I don't know if we covered this or not, but how
Well,
did you notice it?
it kind of goes back to like a year ago with
Okay.
I hit the Montana State game, and that was just all kind of by luck, really. Like I just happened to be in Montana, and then I was like, this line looks off, and then like I'm not gonna bet anything. Like with living in Colorado, like I'm gonna look at 3-4 apps and see what a line is, before I bet anything. And I
Of
was like,
course.
whoa, there's 1.5 here, and it's 6.5. Like I think I'll stick around for a couple days and like I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
put a bunch of money on this. But
No.
like I didn't go crazy that time, and it was actually crazy that time. Is like the kiosk it locked up the selection after like it wasn't that much money, but then in the morning because I was doing it like 3 or 4 days before the game on that
Okay.
game, and then in the morning
Right.
they unlocked it and I bet some more.
Good for
With
you.
the same offer,
Phenomenal.
like a little bit better, like same thing was last time or this time, like 2 cents better. But like I guess I might be releasing something to the public here that hey, if Montana's in a big game, like you can go up there and get some crazy odds. But at the end of the day,
You still got to do it.
yeah, you got to do it. And then if you want to get paid out, you might have to drive around for 2 days to 50 casinos and go to this one in the morning because you don't want the same people recognizing you and asking you
Right?
questions. And then
Yes,
like
sir.
they're like, "Oh, this guy just made a bunch of money." Like you can't literally, like when you're getting $1,000, some of them 500. It's not like every 500 I can collect, I can give $5. Some of them, and then some of the people since I grew up there, like I know them from high school and shit. So like I'm like, like let me know. Can you cash like 2-3 grand? I'll throw you 20.
Dude,
Like, yeah,
this is exactly what I had to go through here in Toronto. The exact same thing where, we were only allowed to bet $100 per kiosk, 100. And yeah, some of these tricks where you go in the morning and it's one shift pattern, and then by the time you circle back in the afternoon, it's a complete different crew that don't recognize you. So you're like, all right, let's do this again, right? So you can kind of go in circles. But man, oh man, yes, there were a few people on Twitter I saw that were screaming, saying, "How could you mention this thing? You're ruining the edge."
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not that easy. So you want the edge? Sure, go for it. Book your flight to Montana, find a place to play, rent a car, go casino to casino. You don't have the connections that Tbone has in Montana where you can get an extra payout here and there with people he went to high school with. So good luck. It's not easy, man. And so how many days in total did you spend in Montana doing this?
It was only like 3 days, but it basically was an extra day for the cash out. Like I would have left a day earlier if it would have been a sad ride home with no cash out.
Well, good problem to have, eh?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's funny because people were saying like, I bet you were sweating when it was 10-3 at halftime. Actually, I fell asleep at halftime, man. I woke up in the middle of the third. And like South Dakota State was going to like score. They had already gotten the ball back. They didn't get the ball at half, and they got the ball back. And yeah, I didn't really sweat it because like it's not like it was a bet that's gonna ruin my you never can put everything on the line, but I definitely put more than the couple percent that handicap the top handicappers recommend to put.
Right.
And it worked out, but if it didn't work out, it's just like I got to get up tomorrow and hit the slots hard and grind and find something else, find the next line that's off,
Exactly. And my tweet, because I grabbed your tweet or your video that you showed with the tickets and the money, and the first thing I said was opportunity presents itself daily. And it doesn't have to be in sports betting. It could be in slots. It could be on the blackjack tables. It could be wherever. Like, there could be a casino offering crazy odds on something that they shouldn't be. It could be in the stock market. It could be with crypto. You never know.
100%.
But opportunity is everywhere. I think that's the moral of this story. And sure, when you see something that's like high expected value, I guess, I don't know, I'm not a math guy. Yeah, you can put more towards it because you're like, I'm the likelihood of me cashing on this is pretty damn high, so I'm going to crush it. But then you have these amazing stories of driving around in Montana and taking advantage of it. It's great. It's great, man. It brought a tear to my eye. It just, honestly, from the project that we did, you got to, yeah.
That's why the opportunity is there too. Like if there was some big casino there, like a DraftKings or something, and they had some high roller that could just like lay 50 grand on it, and then he's gonna just try to middle it or something, you know, like the odds wouldn't be there, you know. But
100%. Did you try to middle it
I
at
gotta
all?
take a leak. I gotta take a leak real quick, man.
Okay. I'll pause it. He wasn't lying, folks. He wasn't lying. Listen carefully.
I didn't know the mic worked all the way out here. Sorry, man.
All right, we're back, folks. Tbone feels refreshed, and you got a new drink, as did I. So we're ready to go. We're ready to finish this off. Thank you for sticking with us. I was told by all our loyal followers. They were very stern with me, and they said, Pisky, don't you dare limit Tbone to 1 hour. Let him go. Let him talk. We want as much information as possible, and you guys are getting it. So we're an hour and 16 minutes into this thing, but we got one story left, and then we got to let Tbone go because there's money to be made down on the casino floor of Ameristar in Colorado tonight. So, Tbone, I'm going to tee it up for you, brother. This was my favorite moment from Bet Bash last year in August. You posted it on Twitter, and I remember being a few steps away from you, and I didn't even realize I was all messed up with that Legacy Club party. It's the end of the convention or whatever, and you're up there on the 60th floor overlooking Las Vegas. It's beautiful. They had the models walking around, and you know you're actually friends with everyone at this point because you've been hanging out all weekend getting plastered. And then Tbone posts this picture. Now, that is Iowa Pete. Is it Iowa Pete?
Yeah.
And Indiana. Yeah, Iowa Pete and Indiana Tim. And Tim Fraley.
Tim Fraley. Yes. Yeah, I think he lives in Indiana. Or
Indiana. Yeah. And in the middle, that beautiful individual. No shame to you. No shade to you guys. You guys are all beautiful as well. But the beautiful blonde in the middle is none other than Lefty Frank Rosenthal's daughter. So Lefty Rosenthal, if any of you remember, he is, let me change it for a second, right here, portrayed by Robert De Niro in the movie Casino. So he was inducted, the gentleman on the right was inducted into the Sports Gambling Hall of Fame at Circa. And obviously he's not around anymore. And his daughter was there to accept the award on her behalf. So Tbone, you got to tell us the story. How did this happen? Why do you have the most beautiful woman at Bet Bash sitting at your table? Like, oh, you have this one-liner? Share it with us. I'm sure there's a lot of single dudes.
I wish my one-liner was like, she said, can she sit here? And I says, do you want me to leave? You know, do you want the whole table? I'll tell these other fat bald guys to leave too. But no, she's like, I just wanted to sit down with you guys and like hear some stories and stuff. And like, I've actually always been fascinated with the movie Casino. So it was like an amazing time for me just to speak with her. Like, I moved to Vegas in 2008 during the recession, and like the child house home she grew up in was like for sale. Like, I think it's for sale again now. It was like $600,000 or something back then. It's on the Las Vegas Country Club, and I was like, yeah, you grew up in that house. Like, I remember I was like, you know, just dreaming like that would be a cool thing to buy, but I could ever like I had the money to put it together and stuff back then. And just looking at the pictures, you know, and talking to her about it was amazing. And just there was so many other stories though I wanted to talk to her about. Like, you know, like when your dad died, did you have to go out in the desert and dig up a bunch of gold or something? You know, was there a storage unit in New Jersey?
Yeah.
Or something, you know, you never know. Like back then, they were skimming so much money, and like just money like wasn't recorded. Just, you know, they were just I've heard about that in Montana. Like these guys that own the machines, because it was all quarters, and like they were just like, there's guys with like tubs of quarters like buried and stuff, supposedly. Who knows, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and then I hit her up too. Like a thing a lot of people don't know. It's like before her dad died, he had a website. It might even be still up if you like research it. But like he gave out free football picks, and it was like the year he died was the year I moved to Vegas, and I was like trying to like, you know, whatever, get on the internet and try to find information, and like, dude, he was still good. Like his like, and I was asking her, I was like, was that really your dad and stuff? Like, and she was like, yeah, that was my dad. He had that site. Like, till the day he died, he fucking put up pics and stuff. And
Come
like,
on, really?
yeah. And like he had like
Holy
a thing you could pay something to, you know. I never paid, but like, and I only found it for like 3 or 4 months or something, you know. But it was like
Yeah.
he died in like October or something during football season, but it was like 2-3 months of the football season. I'm like, man, he's crushing it. Like he's hitting these every like, you know, like big game on Monday night, like where I was going big, and like, you know, I was just kind of learning sports betting, and just like I was like, this is amazing. Like, and then he dies, and I'm like, what do I do next? You know, like, how do I keep this going, man?
That
Did
must
you
have
talk
been
to
something
did
else, yeah.
Did you talk to her at all about the movie? Has she met Robert De Niro and some of the cast? Maybe Joe Pesci too as
No,
well?
I didn't really talk much about that, but we were just talking about parts in the movie and just like that house that she lived in
and stuff like that. And just kind of like, it's always that thing too. You're getting all kind of on the spot, you know, like,
Yeah,
oh
like
my
what do you
God,
say?
she's sitting there like, what
Yeah,
do I
for
say?
sure.
And then like 15 minutes later, like after she leaves, you're like, oh, I should have said this or this. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But
I feel that way every time we have a guest on this podcast. It's like, oh shit, I forgot to ask him this. I forgot to ask him that. Same
Yeah.
But
thing.
yeah,
Uh,
I got
I wanted to say one last story. Like you asked me how I got into slots, and
Yeah.
like it was kind of maybe you know, Spanky always says like, you know, it's all about meeting one person and stuff, and like, and mine for me never happened at Bet Batch or anything, but you know, it was all about when Colorado legalized sports. Like, as soon as they legalized, you know, what's the name of this podcast? Always betting,
Always
right?
betting.
I've always been betting, man. Like, I lived in Vegas for 6 years, and then I had to come up here for work, and then you know, I'm just always betting. So once the DraftKings and FanDuel, and like, I'm not gonna say, you know, I'm some sophisticated sharp bettor or anything. You know, I'm just, you know, trying to 50% it, and like, just, you know, I'm not the bookie killer. I'll tell you that much. But you know, I try to find different things. And as soon as it legalized here, it was during the pandemic, and you know, there's nothing going on. The casinos were closed. So whatever sports there were, you know, there was the summer league and the you know, in the two gyms they had or whatever, and so I'm just betting with FanDuel and all these sites and just having fun with it. And you know, next thing I start getting, you know, sign a friend up, $5,000. We'll give you, if your friend puts in 5,000, we'll give you 5,000 in free bets, and we'll give your friend 5,000. And really, what I did, I just hit the internet hard, mainly Twitter, and was just like, man, who hasn't signed up for FanDuel and isn't an idiot? I'll get you $5,000. But it's crazy how hard like that is. It sounds like an easy thing, but like I get all these guys jumping in my DMs like, oh, I can do this, and then it's just like, can you do it or not? You're like, I'll hook you up with the guy, but if you can't do it, don't waste my time. And there's a lot of guys that wasted my time, but there was one guy, we don't need to name names, and you know, like, oh, he's friends with him, but everybody knows he's my friend. But basically, we met one time in at the D at the Long Bar and exchanged Twitter information. And like 6 months before this, and he saw one of my advertisements, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna come up. You know, can you get me on $5,000 at DraftKings? And so you come up, sign up. Yeah, I'm like, look at it, it's right here, all in writing. And so he took the chance. He came up, and you know, like I said, he was always like, "Oh, I want to teach you the slot stuff," and I was like, you know, I don't want to get in the middle of your shit. But at the end of the day, you know, that's how a lot of this stuff happens. You would help an advantage gambler, he helps you with stuff. And at the end of the day, the craziest promotion I've seen anybody crack was him. And I'm the one that hooked him up with it. He wouldn't have known this guy if he didn't come out here and meet me like 2 days before that. Was a guy at FanDuel, and the guy offered a deal like you can sign up to 4 people for 50,000, and we'll give you 12,500, and the person you sign up will get 12,500 and 50,000. It was basically you get 25%, they get 25% of whatever they put in, with up to a $50,000 max. And my buddy went to work, and he signed up 4 guys, 50,000 apiece, and they gave him 50,000 in FanDuel free play. And you know, I think his FanDuel limits are pretty much shot now, but he started with a $50,000 you know, getting going account, you know, and you know, now we're pretty much really good friends, and you know, we try to share it. That's half of this game. It's just, this casino has a promotion and going after promotions.
Like that's the easiest way you're gonna beat a casino is going after promotions.
For sure. Because it's and that's across the board. It's not even just casinos, man. It's like, you know, Shoppers Optimum. Or sorry, it's PC Optimum here in Toronto, and Petrol Points, right? Those were all bonuses. So if you went to Petro Canada and bought your lotto tickets, they would give you, I think it was $3 on every 100 that you played. Well, all of our runners went to Petro Canada every single time they had to buy tickets and tried to max them out because you're getting a kickback. You're getting a 3% kickback on every ticket that you're playing. So yeah, it adds up. It adds up fast. So this is the gentleman that taught you the different strategies and slots. Is that the connection there?
Yeah, basically I would not even know that guy if we didn't meet at the D. Basically like 3 months before
the pandemic.
And then it was like three or 4 months after, you know, basically when the pandemic was in prime. But they still had sports up here, and like the casino. Once the casinos opened back up, because that's when it came out. It was during that football season.
Okay, cool.
He came out. The first thing was I got him a $5,000 bonus. It was in free bets. If he put in 5,000, he got 5,000 in free bets, and then I got 5,000. That's crazy. Like,
is he still hitting the slots today?
Yeah, he's a professional video poker player. Like. He does other things too, but
we got to get him on here.
Yeah, he's a handicapper. Like I could definitely talk to him about getting him on, but without meeting him, like that's a person that pretty much changed my life. You know, like I was always like grinding. You know, like you know, I'd get a bankroll, then get fucking killed. Like I lived in Vegas forever, maybe doing too much drinking. You know, do something stupid. You know, that's what I always say. Like when I was in Montana, actually, there was a couple people I saw in casinos. They were like, "What are you here doing?" And I told them, I was like, either doing something real smart or something real dumb. And it turned out to be real smart.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. And yes, I can vouch for you. I think that's why I love Bet Bash so much. Is that, you know, I went to Bet Bash this past season to retire from sports betting, and I ended up meeting the right people, and now I'm arguably just as deep as I always was. That's not true. It's not as bad. It's not as heavy as it was, but you make these incredible connections with these incredibly smart people, and you find ways to help each other. Yeah. And you know what? I can't say enough about the people that I met, and just hanging out with all guys that, you know, kind of think the same way, and it's cool. And I would have never met you, Tbone, if I didn't go to Bet Bash. And I'll never forget you coming up and tapping me on the shoulder in the sports book at Circa and say, "Hey, you're the guy with the Jeep. You're the guy, you know, doing those ticket things." And I just laughed, and you know, we became buddies ever since. I got to sit with Tbone. He was at my table for the Sports Gambling Hall of Fame, watching guys like Billy Walter get nominated into the Sports Gambling Hall of Fame. You had me and Tbone sitting there eating steak and crushing high noons together. So yeah, it's a great time, man. And you know, you come on here now to the podcast. You're giving out tips of what to do, what not to do in terms of, you know, making dollars on the slot machines and in the sports betting industry. But to wrap it all up, Tbone, I got one final question, and this comes from my mom and my mom's best friend, Christine. They want to know. They want to know. First of all, I know you're like the Godfather and I, and to really express yourself, you like to swear sometimes, and you kept it to a minimum. So they are going to be very thankful of that. So kudos to you. But their question is, because they like going to the casino in Montreal and fooling around in the slot machines, they want to know one slot machine, Tbone recommended. If you had to play any slot machine, a title of a slot machine in a casino that probably has the best chance to make a little scratch on, what would Tbone recommend? One slot machine.
The most popular game right now that's vultured in casinos is called Buffalo Ascension. And basically, when you look at the keypad, it has 5 different denominations: $1, $2, $3, $4, and $5. And basically, it says ways on it. So this will also help people. Like if you see any game that says ways, what ways mean is ways to win. So the higher the ways to win, the better you have. So there's games, basically the reels go up and eventually the reels hit a prize and then they go back down. So like basically you got to look at these games, and if they have like 3,000, 4,000 ways, like you probably want to jump in. But like if it's like 1,000, 2,000, you don't want to jump in unless like there's a few different situations. Like they have the prizes are really good at the top. Like there's 2 of those gold super stampedes. Like that's one of the time. Maybe if there's like 2,000 ways, you want to try to go hit it.
Buffalo Ascension. Just
and I like if you really
just jot
want to
that
know,
down for the nonnas of Woodbridge.
I'll plug Wizard of Odds, man. If you really want to learn some other games, because that's the thing is how this works is you learn one game. Somebody tries to teach you 5 games, and what happens is you learn one game, and then you forget the 4. But you can go on Wizard of Odds, and all his numbers are correct. He's a mathematician. Like nobody can argue that his numbers are wrong, and he's got a slot section on there. And there's like I would recommend the Rich Little Piggies, like you played, and then and there's really you don't even have to read it. Just scroll down to where it says play point. Because this is what's funny is like a lot of people ask me this shit, and I'll send it to them, and I know that they don't even fucking read it because there's like this much to read, and like they get lost in that, but they just need to go like down to here where it says play point.
Yeah,
this is
there
just
you go.
explaining the game, and like everybody has a 60-second
it's TikTok that's doing that to us, by the way, in case you want a reason why people our attention span is that small.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to make everyone feel better. When the Full Dog discovered Tbone, he sent me, I think, this Wizard of Odds website, and I am a victim of that, where it gives you a write-up of how to beat these games, and I read through like half of it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's not for me. So I know exactly what you're talking about, Tbone, and I'm a dummy that did the exact same thing. So
how about that Oopa Loopa game?
Oompa Loompa.
Willy Wonka. That one's a friend of the show claims that's the winner.
There is a Willy Wonka game that has like a must-hit prize in it, but there's like 3 or 4 other Willy Wonka games that there's no advantage in.
Okay.
So there's only so many games, and that's like the other thing why I don't mind talking about it is like all these. What needs to happen is them come out with a new game that nobody knows, and like the smart people figure it out first. Like, oh shit, there's a huge advantage here when the ways are high, or when these free games get high, or whatever gets baked up. But right now, like most people know these games, and like unless you're lucky to like be standing around when someone gets off, like it's hard to find, or like. Basically, or the other thing where I make it is I'll play the big stuff that people are scared to play, or like it's close and I'm just like, screw it, I need some player points because I picked up my free play, and because you never want to go pick up your free play and like not put any points on because then they feel like they're getting scammed, So I'm like, I'll give this a shot, and like other people like they don't want the risk, A lot of these guys, they just want to steal. They want the free money, and they want to win every night. But at the end of the day, you're not going to win every night. It's about winning every week, every month. Like there's a lot of cocktail waitresses down here. They're always like interested because they see me hitting the exam page. They're like, what is this guy doing? And they're like, are you winning today? And I'm like, I don't really know. Like I don't even care what happens today. I care what happened this week.
But this month, like,
Long game. I tell that to everyone. This is an endurance. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon, whether it be in sports betting or just taking advantage of any kind of opportunity. It's a long game. You got to brace yourself. There's no. I don't think there's such thing as quick money. There is quick money, but you're going to lose it just as fast usually.
And I don't think anybody makes 100% of the right decisions. Like even like I can tell you that too. Like when I get cracked, I'm like,
I can usually look back at it and be like, what happened? Because that's what I do. I'm like, you got cracked. Like, you need to make sure that doesn't happen again. So you need to look back and see what happened. What did you do? Oh, you were fucking 6 happy dads deep, and you fucking played a fucking stupid machine that was like you were hoping to hit it early, and you didn't hit shit. You didn't hit it, and now you're going home a big loser. And like, yeah, I can't do that anymore. Like, I can do that every now and then, but
discipline. That is such a key, because everyone gets that taste and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna sit down on a 2% machine or something like that, and then they get fucked up because they're like, oh, I just lost a bunch of money, now I got to get it back. You know what I mean? And they're just chasing this. Discipline is everything in this game, and
that's what's crazy about the slot people is
the slot people actually make the casino money, because the slot machine is always gonna return 10% or whatever the chip is programmed to do. But the difference between me and the recreational slot player is when I hit a jackpot, I'm going home and paying my rent with it. Versus the recreational guy, he's just gonna go on another slot and ended up dumping it in there. And so like, but at the same point, they need the money getting generated through the machines brings them a higher a higher return. So at the end of the day, it's just like, are these guys good or bad? Like, I think for a large casino, we're probably good. There's some people I would say that are bad. Like, we get to that. There's people that they don't even have money. They're just looking for a machine and then call this guy and tell him to come over. And like, I don't do any of that shit. I don't work at teams or nothing. And like, I'm out here doing my own thing. So my thing, I just don't want to get kicked out. Like, I don't ask for too much. Every now and then I ask for a sweet or something, and usually it's something for me.
Very delicate, yeah.
I want like one Broncos game a year in the suite. I want the Nuggets game or two, the Avalanche game or two.
Love it.
But
good man.
Like some good sports out your way, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's one beautiful thing about Denver right now.
People don't really realize that. It's like, we got the 4 sports teams, and like, it's probably the best place to bet sports. Like, it definitely was a year or two ago. Like, I don't know if it's still up there, but with the promotions that were going on, like, it was ridiculous. Like, I once had the people of Mattress Mac.
Mattress Mac.
Of course.
Yeah. They got a hold of me, and like, I'll tell this story before we go. I got it wrote down here. Like, because I was on the internet, like, yeah, like, I can get 20%, 25. Like, every place was different. But like, I had hosts, were like 70 people, and so like, I just got on the internet and just, I'm in the sports betting community, like, hey, I get 20%, 25%. Well, one of the guys that negotiates deals for Mac DM'd me and was like, hey, I want to talk to BetMGM about placing a big bet there. Like, it was like $500,000 or $1 million or something. And basically, I got to figure out how I'm going to make money off this, And so I told them, like, yeah, Mattress Mac wants to talk to you guys. And basically, I just gave over a phone number, and I got a $500 free bet over it. And they didn't even do anything, though. Like, MGM wasn't interested in him placing a big wager with them. But the funny thing is, the guy that brought me out here for sport, or that I ended up learning slots from, he did a deal with Barstool here in Ameristar where Mattress Mac placed $1 million on the Patriots. That was when Brady left, and they looked good there for a while, and then Brady ended up winning that year in Tampa. But yeah, he helped put together $1 million for Mattress Mac, and guess how much the casino gave him?
I have no idea.
A $500 free bet.
No.
$500? On $1 million wager?
Yeah, but we don't know what Mattress Mac got because, like, you know, he might have placed
an $800,000 wager, you know, and it was really, you know, they gave him $1 million. Like that's how that stuff goes.
Like,
Yeah.
There's serious negotiations, and like a couple of years ago, like they were bigger, but they're not as big anymore. Like these guys, they don't want to. They're like,
Yeah,
you want to bet $1 million, bring $1 million in. You know, we don't care. You're going to talk about it on Twitter.
I feel like out of the gate, everyone was jostling for that market share or whatever. So, you know, they're willing to give more away. And now, you know, some of those smaller guys are falling down, and some of them are just going away completely. And some of them are limiting up bettors after 6 bets. You know anything about that, Godfather?
A little bit more than I wish to care for, that's for sure.
yeah, it's crazy how so many companies come and go too.
It's garbage. Tbone, I gotta ask you something. When I was doing my homework, taco review. What's up? Can you give us a taco spot? And then I need a pizza spot. And Jesu Cristo, I think Colorado had the worst espresso on the road trip. Can you give me a place where I can get a decent espresso in your parts?
Man, you put me on the spot like I'm a foodie, man.
Okay, how about the taco? Do the taco. Never mind about my stuff.
Where's the best taco in Colorado? Let's make it easy.
To be honest, man, I never really went deep in the taco review scene here in Denver. Like my taco review was all in Mexico, man, and like that's part of the reason why I did it, because you could be in the corner like just like throwing an F-bomb every 4 words talking about tacos, and like nobody even knows what you're saying. And like actually, they're like, "Hey, YouTuber over there!" Like they think you're famous because you're just like yelling into your phone, you know, and eating a taco. And then I come back
influencer.
But then I come back to the States and like I can't do this in a restaurant. There's kids in here and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And so like I kind of got away from it. And then the other thing I was like working a lot, but there's definitely a Mexico trip coming like sometime in the next couple of months, because I'm gonna go back in the summer. I wanted to go earlier this year, but then I had to stick around for the Nuggets championship. And then when I finally went, it was way too hot down there. But I love like just going to these little spots, and like it's just funny. It's just you just gotta like throw stuff. It's all about just putting stuff up, you know, and people like it, and then like it's like that was the best thing I've ever done. And people
we'll stay glued to the we'll stay glued to your Twitter account, and I look forward to the Mexico stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's what people look forward to the most, I think. It's like because they don't believe that you can do that. Like just drive down there and like it is crazy, man. Like I've got some crazy situations. Like nothing that I was threatened, but just like I got some weed and the cops are going through my car, and like then I just end up having to give them some money and stuff. And one minute they're telling me I'm going to jail and my car's getting impounded, and next minute they're like, "You're a good guy." Like,
dude, we're gonna have you back on to tell some of those stories. I like that. That's that's
I try to live life to the fullest, man. Like
good.
Always betting, always gambling, and always, you know, trying not to run out of money. But having a good time. It was great a few years ago.
It's gotten like I don't want to say bad in Mexico because people think dangerous, but a lot of people went down there for when COVID hit, so like it's harder to get Airbnbs and stuff like that. It's more expensive, and then the dollar to peso has gone down, so like it's not as cool as it used to be. It used to be like a serious party, man. Like just like like blow $100-200, you're a king, man.
Yeah, well, that's Costa Rica. Yeah, that's why we're so attracted to that area of the world.
You got to go where your money goes the furthest, you know.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I've always scratched my head and wondered why you Americans don't come up here to Canada, because you know our dollar is shit compared to yours. That's for certain.
Canada has strict strict border
Oh,
guidelines.
you
Like,
actually commented that. I remember you saying like, "Fuck, I don't think I could do it." Yeah.
if you're an idiot like I was in the early 2000s and got busted with some weed, like they're not letting you across, man, which is crazy because weed's legal now, you know.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Well,
But
in conclusion,
yeah, we're going
Tbone.
forever here, man.
Yeah. This is
But that's
crazy.
what I
But
was
you know what?
hoping. Like you said an
People
hour,
are
and I was hoping, I'm gonna push this, man. Like I'm gonna ramble
people
on.
are gonna
Hopefully, I
love it.
didn't ramble on too much because I'm getting drunk here. And,
No.
I might
You
be
did
going from
great, my
story to
man.
story, but
Everybody, this is Tbone's first ever podcast episode.
Yeah,
We got him first. We got him first. We're
Yeah.
the Kigs.
We're
So
going
we really
viral.
appreciate. Yeah, that's right. That's right. But no, Tbone, man, I thank you so much for doing this. Just quickly here,
Absolutely.
because I have a whole bunch of shit that I had uploaded prior to hitting the live button. But I think the reason why the Godfather asked about the espressos and the food is because when we were in Colorado Springs, you must be familiar with Colorado Springs.
Oh, beautiful area.
Yeah, this is the Godfather. He found this place he likes to call home. I don't know, because maybe the flag or whatever. And then when we were sitting down inside doing an espresso review and having a
This
beautiful
picture,
lunch,
I don't know.
we noticed that he had spent some time there at some point. I don't know, his ancestors.
My
That's
first
him.
job. It was my
I'm
first
convinced
job.
he's got the mortadella there. So it's funny that he asked about the food situation in Colorado. But man, again, thank you so much for doing this. I know that our followers are going to love it because they've been so fired up since I announced it. So I know we just scratched the surface here. So if you would agree to come on again and give us a round 2 of Tbone, I know there's a lot more that we can talk about. It would be great. But man, thanks for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I appreciate you guys having me on. I even appreciate that there might be a round 2, man. Like,
Absolutely.
I don't know how
Absolutely.
long this did if I rambled on too much and went from story to story. But wow, anytime, man. You guys are great. Love you
Awesome.
guys. You know, it's all about having connections everywhere and knowing people. Like the more people
100%,
you
man.
know.
the more you can share information and help each other out.
1000%, my man.
Communication is everything in this world.
Are you going to be at Bet Bash 4?
Yeah, I should be there, but you never know. It's hard to make plans this late. But yeah, I plan to be because it's just crazy.
Like, there's so many friends like I only see there, and it's fun just to kick back and throw a few beers back and just you remember that one? Like that was a good way. We got lucky there,
It's just
For
fun,
sure.
It's crazy
Absolutely.
too. It's like everything's free, like people say the price is expensive and stuff.
But at the end of the day, when you get all the free drinks and the free food, like you really don't pay for anything, like unless you really go out to eat that week. But
Exactly.
it's crazy, man. It's I'm old and like it's a lot of partying and like I'm glad I seen Spanky said the other day that no more 9 a.m. Start times for the stuff. Like I was like kind of cussing him out for that. Like, dude, I'm like, get real, bro. Like 9 a.m. I'm staying at the Wynn, bro. Like, what do you think I'm gonna get up at 7 in the morning, go eat breakfast, and then like there's nothing to bet for sports and shit. Like 9 a.m. I gotta get up at 7 to get breakfast, and I'm still gonna be late at 9. Like, come on, dude. Can we do at least 10, bro?
100%. And I miss events every year. I always tell people to pace your drinking when you're at Bet Bash, and I always don't listen to my own advice. Right? And
just have fun, man. Just have fun, and then don't be scared to approach people and meet people, man. Like most people are very friendly. Like that's probably one of the things I did the worst, like in sports betting. I was like scared to like go try to meet people because I didn't want to like mess in their system or like who's this guy, but just introduce yourself and say what's up, and what's the worst could anybody say is like buzz off, or next thing you know they're telling you something you never knew about.
Yeah, and they won't say buzz off. And this magical creation was because of you, Tbone, tapping me on the shoulder and told me you like my Jeep in Colorado. So the Batmobile, the Batmobile.
It's too bad we didn't connect, man. If you, I'm gonna throw this out too. If you guys ever come out, like I got you guys rooms and stuff. Like maybe not as nice as this one, but I don't know how many of you guys there are, but like
Black Hawk was fantastic when
still
we
like a
that's for
decent
sure.
room. Like
We love Blackhawk.
By the window, though.
We love Blackhawk. Here's one more that I had in the archives here. This is someone at the Monarch Casino just chilling. I don't know if you guys recognize them or not. Right in the middle of the Rocky Mountains. It was beautiful, man. So
the Monarch's a beautiful casino as well.
Thanks again, and yeah, you know what? Just turn your you got us on your phone right now, right? Yeah. Here's how we're gonna sign off. Just show us the comp that you got. Show us that suite. Yeah, show us the suite. Why not? I'm sure that'll be a fun way to end this for the 6th time.
See there, it's got like a little living room here. And then you
Beautiful.
got a bedroom over here.
Nice.
Oh my God! Look at that.
But yeah, like, are you really gonna get in there with a woman? You know, like how many people have been in there with some hooker? But no, there's not a lot of hookers in Blackhawk and stuff. So it's not like a dirty Vegas hotel. But you got a TV here for the bed.
Oh yeah,
it's got a big bathroom here. And then it's got another bathroom in the
nice spot, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, like my dog, like if I was like yelling at my phone this long in my house, like and there's another bathroom over there. But my dog would just be like barking, like, I thought I was your best friend. Who are you talking to? You know? Like,
that's awesome.
Like,
and just to confirm, they flip you that because you're a VIP player at Ameristar.
I don't really ask for a lot, so like this is pretty easy, you know. But I'll do this too, like they show the UFC fights out here. My dad, like, he'll want to come out watch the fights, and so I'll be like, yeah, Dad, come out. I'll get you one of these rooms, and like this is crazy, like. And then he looks at the jacuzzi like, I wish I was married and could put some teeth in there. Like, yeah, you're not the only one, you know.
That's awesome, man.
Awesome.
But yeah, maybe went overboard there.
Fuck it. Always betting podcast. No such thing.
Man. And yeah, we pushed it over an hour. And hopefully everybody likes it, you know, and we'll do it again, man, if everybody likes it.
Absolutely.
So,
for sure.
Whatever,
thanks,
man. We're
thanks again, Tbone. And thank you, everyone, for sticking with us. And, yeah, we'll catch y'all next week.
Good luck, man. Good luck this weekend. Big football games.
For
Peace
sure.
out, guys.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.